This is iHeart Communities. I'm your host, Jade Harrell, keeping you connected to our community. Well, Americans consume about 721 hours of media per day, a recent survey says. Interestingly, the number of agencies that have producers and content creators of color is about 2%. So who is creating all of this media that we're consuming? Well, I am joined today by a company who is expanding diversity in media production and determined to change the narrative of the narrators of our story. Dan Parris, the executive producer and founder of Continuity, is with me, as well as Musau, who is a participant in the recent and current cohort that is going through the incredible program that is bringing more diversity and more opportunity to the world of media production. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I've got to hear the story, Dan. Now, tell us a little bit more about Continuity and how the idea was created.
The idea started, I had the opportunity to teach at St. Louis Public Schools, to teach an after-school program to students who were interested in video production. And that program ended and the nonprofit kind of dissolved. And so my business partner and I, we started exploring some of the next things we would get into. And I was thinking about maybe getting a master's and teaching, and so that I could teach film, because you have to have a master's to teach at university. And my partner and co-founder, Kyle, was like, well, why don't we just start our own nonprofit, and then you can teach media there. And so we started brainstorming. We got together with a group of folks who were our advisors, and we said, what should this nonprofit be? But as we started looking at it, we said, well, there are already a lot of nonprofits working with teens, teaching them media. What about adults? What about adults who want to get in this industry, want to find a way to make an income doing something they love in the media industry, but don't know the route to get there? Maybe don't have the skills training, don't have the mentors, don't know how to break in to the industry. And so we thought, with some of our connections in filmmaking and with our experience, that we might be able to help bridge that gap. And so the name Continuity comes from this idea of consistency and reciprocity. I'm struggling with that word.
That's a fun one, yeah.
It's a film term that's consistency in what you're watching, but it's also this idea of consistency in your work and in your life and giving back, and kind of how things can loop. You're not really seeing the symbol I'm making right now, but I'm making the symbol for continuity in the air.
Continuity as well as infinity.
And so the idea was that the filmmakers that would come through our program would then give back to the community, and the program itself would give back, and there would be a consistency to it all. And so in 2014, we got our nonprofit status. And 2014 in the winter we did. In 2015, we grew a board, wrote a bunch of grants, and then 2016 we started programs. But we also learned from our different programs that we did that we should combine all our resources into one intensive program, and that is the program that Musau is a part of, is the annual media training program. It's a 36-week program where we meet every Wednesday night from 6 to 9 p.m. We have 10 adults. We had 100 people apply, and we chose 10. And they go through this 36-week program where they learn film basics in the first 12 weeks, intermediate film in the next 12, and then in the last 12, they learn film business. And that's where we talk about how to start your own business, how to get a job, get an internship, bookkeeping, accounting, financials, producing, all these different elements of filmmaking that really are the business side, because it's the movie business, and there's so much business that actually goes into this.
Yes.
And so that's kind of a gist of where we came from and what it is now. And so we're currently actually looking for applicants. The due date is May 31st, and so people can go to the website continuitystl.com and fill out an application. Our only requirement is that we were looking for adults who are underrepresented in this industry, and that falls into many different groups outside of groups that look like myself, white males, because that's really the dominant demographic in the industry. And what we believe is I think you believe, is that we're missing out on a lot of stories if we're only getting from one perspective, one viewpoint, one background. And obviously, even white males aren't a monolithic group, but there's a whole wide variety of experiences and backgrounds I think we're missing out on if people don't know how to have the experience and the tools to tell their own stories.
Sure. The experience, the tools, the opportunity, and the access. And I do appreciate a few things that you said, but one of those things that occurred to me as you were speaking was we're also missing the collective story of us experiencing things and sharing our narratives of our togetherness and the things that we build and do and experience together with our shared work. And that's very powerful. Well, And you also don't look like the typical white male that's running the media business as well, by the way. People can't see that, but you're younger. You're younger, and you're not wearing the grays and the, the staunchy suits that
I'm pretty much in jeans and a plaid shirt.
Well, I meant gray hair. I meant gray hair, but you're talking about like the suits and everything, right? Yeah. He's not one of the suits guys. But where did that teaching bug come from with you? I tell people if I weren't doing media, I would teach. What is it? Where did that originate with you? Because it seemed like that love was there.
Well, I think it started... I had a mentor. There was a woman named Bobby Lautenschlager, and they called her the godmother of St. Louis film. And when I was making my first documentary, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I was pitching it. I was going everywhere I could, telling everybody what I could about it, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And she saw what I was doing, and she said, I want to invest in you. And so she started connecting me with folks that had influence in the St. Louis film industry. She had test screenings at her house. She would cook a meal and then offer a test screening of my first documentary. And all these people would rip my film apart, but we would go back and we would edit it and make it better. Then we'd come back again with a whole new group, and they would watch and give us feedback. And after these multiple test screenings, our film got better and better, and ended up winning Best Documentary at the local St. Louis Filmmaker Showcase, and went on to screen around the country. But just her influence and investing me, I could call her when I said, hey, this company wants to buy my film or wants me to pay them to then sell my film. She's like, no, you don't pay nobody. They pay you, or they take a cut. And so I had somebody in those moments where I didn't know what to do that I could call. And the power and influence of having someone in my life like that, I wanted to be able to give back. And I just spent so much time learning and being in a bubble. I didn't want anybody else to go through some of the same hiccups and shut doors that I went through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's incredible. First of all, what was your documentary about?
It was about me and two of my friends trying to live in extreme poverty on $1.25 a day across 15 countries.
I saw that.
Yeah, it used to be called Give a Damn. And now it's called What Matters Now.
What Matters Now. Oh my goodness. And here's where I'm hearing that what was her name?
Her name was Bobby Lautenschlager. They now give an award. They give an award to the festival called the Bobbies.
The Bobbies.
At the St. Louis International Film Festival.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, first of all, you hear that the St. Louis film industry is thriving, but it also has a great deal of need. And so when did you become interested in film? How old were you when you did this project?
When I did this project, I started it when I was 23 in film school. I went to school out in Los Angeles.
Got it.
At a school called Biola University. And I thought, all these big investors were going to invest in my film. Nobody, the stock market crashed. Nobody wanted to invest in my film about extreme poverty.
Right. How about that?
Surprise, surprise. And just kind of limping along, and got two crazy friends decide they would do it alongside me. My dad helped me start my business, and told me what QuickBooks was. And
these are all the inputs and components of not only giving you the opportunity to learn, to make mistakes, and to refine your craft, but those are the things that are the difference makers from those that can do and those that can't. And so what I hear is that continuity is eliminating those barriers with this program that you have annually.
Yeah, we want to provide natural mentorship, folks who are actually in the industry, who are telling you, hey, don't do this, do this. We also really want to talk about having quality composition, quality sound. There's so many basics that are really important. If you can knock these things out, you're automatically making professional content versus amateur content. And
absolutely.
And most people in our program, like Musau, had already had some experience, had already had some internships, but how to take that to the next level, how to take that and make that into something that they can do for a living was our job. Hopefully push to that next level.
Well, think about that though, Dan. You were just a young kid making movies with some hopes and dreams of becoming something, but it took over time that you built, and now you have a successful business. That the arm of giving that back to someone else demonstrates that there's a lot more than just doing your amateur projects. There's a pathway there, and opening up that pathway to folks like Musau. And this is your third year in it.
This is my first.
Your first year. This is your third year of doing the program.
This is our second year of doing programs.
Yeah.
And this is the end of our second year.
Got
basically.
it. Pretty cool going into the third. Well, then, even having the experience, and I kind of joke with folks, having a business degree and then having business acumen are two completely different things. And I'm learning more in the school of real life hard knocks than I ever could have, even though having that degree or certification or teaching had been valuable. For you, how did that change things, this program? Well, let me just rewind. How did you become a candidate and selected? How did you hear about the program even?
Well, actually, my cousin, I tell her everything, like, I want to do this, and I'm just trying to break out. I just don't know where to go in St. Louis where I can actually make films and, actually get that chance to, like, be the next Ava DuVernay.
Okay.
That's the ultimate dream.
And she wants that for us,
and
too.
She's like, girl, I saw this. They were on Channel 2 or Channel 5, and they had this. And then she sent me a Facebook link.
Wow.
And I think it was like a week before the deadline closed. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to make a video. I got to do this for the application. But I was determined, and I was like, well, I probably won't even get in, but I'm going to try at least. If I don't, then I'll be mad at myself for putting the effort into doing it. And then I got an email, and I was like, oh my God, I made it to the rounds. And, then I got another email after they, got the second part of the application process that I actually got it. And that was very exciting to me because I was like, wow, this is actually an opportunity that's going to actually change my life and has been changing my life since I've been in the program.
I want to take it back to when you first read the posting and the possibility of something like this. What did that mean for you?
It meant an opportunity. I think the biggest thing for me that I saw that really made me go for it was the fact of mentorship. That was the biggest thing for me. Especially, I felt like I haven't had a mentor really that especially can understand what I'm going through in my field. Per se, so that was the biggest selling point for me. And then I saw that there's other benefits as well. That was like, icing on the cake. But the mentorship really was the big thing for me, where I can go to someone who's been through this and like kind of be guided through this process.
So the idea of it, the very possibility, was inspiring for you.
Yeah.
Right. I can completely understand. So what has manifested that has become real since you've been in the program?
So being in the program has really taught me, more of the basics in film. Like, I went to school and I kind of started going towards that direction, but actually being able to learn my skill sets as far as owning composition, lighting, audio, how audio is key. No one's going to watch your thing if they can't hear it or don't like it, or the noise is off, stuff like that. So for me, that whole experience and having the awesome instructors that we have, and they sit down there and they give you the critiques and they show you how you could do better, and just actually them showing that they actually care in your dreams is very inspiring and helpful, because sometimes you get frustrated, like, oh my God, what am I doing? But they're like, no, so this is how we're going to make it succinct. This is how we're going to make this video more impactful while having less. And it's kind of hard when you have to go through a lot of different stuff in order to get that kind of impactful video. So it's been very, very helpful.
So you said it's changed my life. It's constantly changing my life in many ways. What's different?
I would say now I have more of a confidence in my abilities. I think before I'm shy, I'm innately already shy. But so to want to go into this industry where you have to put yourself out there has been one of a way for them that's changed my life, been able for me to be more open, being able to be confident in the skill sets that I can now do. Like, I could be confident in going up to someone and saying, I make videos and this is my ability to do so. And even this last phase of the class where we're learning how to budget ourselves and like how we promote ourselves and our abilities has also been very helpful as well. So now I'm like working on like getting my own website together. And getting all this stuff together and looking for different opportunities here in St. Louis or abroad. Well,
very cool to be looking for opportunities in St. Louis. Folks are missing out on the wealth of opportunity and how rich, really literally rich in culture and vibrancy that our city is. So I want to toss out this question. How different are your dreams now than when you started?
That's a good one. How different are my dreams now than when I first started? I would say they're not really different, but I say that they're more believable for me. I think that's the most I think that's what it is. I've always had a passion of telling stories.
What do you want to share? What do you want? What story do you want told?
Stories that don't portray African Americans in a negative stereotypical light, like I look up to people like Spike Lee, who did Do the Right Thing, like stuff like that, like inspiring to our culture. And also because I am of African descent, I also want to change the way that Americans look at Africans. I think that's
beyond
also
the slave story.
Yeah, like we're past. There's more to us than that, and there's more to Africans other than being naked and with the wild and stuff, and impoverished with flies, stuff like that. So I wanted to
she said with flies, right?
You always see the ads with the flies. Like they can't wipe the flies from their eyes.
Us in Guatemala,
exactly.
Our poor children. I appreciate that. And so they didn't change, but they're more believable, more tangible, more attainable.
Right. Exactly. So it makes it more real for me to go after and pursue.
You see there's a parallel in what you're saying and as what many people are calling the Wakanda effect. The difference is by becoming believable for you, you then can create something that's believable for someone else.
Right.
And the next little girl or the next little boy or the community at large, or even the people that are viewing your people, your community in a whole nother light. And it's incredible. That's my appreciation of it. Dan, as you hear her, what do you think about what you're hearing come from Musau?
It's really encouraging, the idea that it's believable, because I believe that's totally the truth, is that you can make films. I think growing up, it's like, I want to be a baseball player, I want to do this, I want to do that. And like, no, you can't. Well, yes, you can. If you just work your butt off, you can make these dreams come true, and you can make it possible. You may have to change them or adapt them depending on what you want. They might hit the real world, but as long as you keep fighting and keep pushing, you can be a filmmaker in St. Louis. I'm proof. You can have your own show in St. Louis. You can do a lot of different things, but you got to hustle, you got to work hard, and it's so much easier when other people have walked that route or have made mistakes and say, hey, no, head this way, or try this out, or did you know about this? There's so much power in have you heard about or did you know about? And I think that's so cool that it's believable, and I believe in her. Like whatever she's going to do, I'm so excited. There's nothing better to sell our program than Musau and everybody else going out and making great
really
stuff.
Doing it, right.
It's a self-sustaining thing, because they're going to go out there and do some cool stuff, and we're just going to be like, hey, can we get tickets to that? You remember us?
Right.
That kind of thing.
And let me know if anybody gives you a hard time, because, like, nah, I don't know. That guy, is he on the list kind of thing? They better not.
Yeah.
I won't be that way, honestly. This is really exciting to hear. Let me go a little bit more into what story do you want to tell? What do you want your legacy to be in this, Dan?
I want to, so I'm the executive director and co-founder, but there's a huge team of us. From the beginning, we had a bunch of other folks come in and give us advice to help redirect the entire mission of it. And now we have a board of, I believe, about 7 of us. And the teachers, like I don't even teach anymore. I teach a couple classes, I guess teach. We have 3 teachers who teach all throughout the year that I'm not even there teaching. I'm out trying to raise the awareness and raise finances and those kind of things. So it's switching the job from what I intentionally did. And so honestly, my legacy is that I would love to raise enough money that I can hire someone else to do the job.
Right.
And then I can just come in and teach here and there and be a part of, where the program ends up going, but that it's ran by someone else who has probably more nonprofit experience, a more fundraising experience, those kind of things. But I can still be involved in the film side of things and the education side of things. And so that's really my personal vision for Continuity, to see it grow. And we would love to see it expand into other mediums, radio, graphic design, photography, these kind of things. So we're primarily filmmakers that are involved, and so we're starting with film. We want to do it well. I think it's really easy to try to have all these big dreams and make all these commitments. We're like, let's focus, let's do this one thing, let's do it really well, and let's learn from our mistakes. So I know there's things that haven't been perfect in the program, and so we're excited to hear from the participants, okay, what was great, what could be better, and just keep on making this program better. And once we get this program where it should be, then we can start to explore different outlets.
And believe me, the help comes, just like Bobby showed up in your life. The help comes, and then that opened up a whole new world of possibilities and took things to the next level. And just by creating this, I'm certain it'll happen. Absolutely. Now, do you still make film? personally?
I do still make films. My most recent one was called Show Me Democracy.
Okay.
And it played on Fuse in April of 2017. So they said about 250,000 people that saw the film. It's about, it takes place amidst the Ferguson uprising. It's about how young people can engage democracy. Some on the streets, some through legislation and working with policymakers. And so it's just about how young people can make an impact. And that's kind of a theme in most of my films are about different ways young people can make an impact. And so we finished that film, and I'm trying to show it around the community here in St. Louis and nationally, and start discussions about race, immigration, the history of segregation in St. Louis, what young people can do to make a difference in our country. And so there's a lot of different messages.
That's incredible, Dan, that these... And, I don't want to pigeonhole you either and say, oh, I'm surprised that even matters. But to get to the heart of this, how did this become a passion for you? What were things like coming up? You're from St. Louis? What did you see, or through your lens, that put you in a place to say, hey, I want to do something like this with my abilities? And there's a lot of different points in my story. I'd say the biggest thing that's happened in my life was I went from being like a punk kid that was, involved in drugs and just, getting in trouble all the time and kind of lost and not knowing my purpose, to coming to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And like the impact that had on my life was just changed me. I really was one of those kids that went from like drugs to Jesus, and it changed my entire perspective. And through that, opened up a bunch of doors that I wouldn't have known about. And one was going to Africa in 2005. And like Musau talked about, I got to go the chance to go to the Kibera slum, which is the second largest slum in Africa. But I made a bunch of friends there, and I got to have a great experience that influenced me as I came home. I'm like, how do I have friends that live on $1 a day and I'm buying $4 coffees at Starbucks when I come home? And so what went from a desire to maybe make Hollywood films, that maybe not Christian films, but films that are like help people figure out the meaning of life and tell stories of love and things that matter. I saw that with documentary I could tell powerful stories cheaper and quicker, and maybe eventually I can do the Hollywood or big fiction films, but I could start out just making these films on a low budget with the gear I have, and that's what I did. And so alongside a lot of other people who've helped me along the way, help make that possible. And so our company Speak Up Productions is about speaking up for issues that matter, and speaking up for those who can't speak for themselves, or at least don't have the same kind of megaphone. They could speak up for themselves, but nobody's giving them the megaphone to do that, or the tool to be able to do that. And so trying to spread those stories. So our films are about extreme poverty, about democracy, about human trafficking, mental illness. Those are the 4 different topics of our 4 different documentaries. That's right. Well, let's send out the invitation, because we need some more folks in film and telling these stories and getting to work. Dan, send out the invitation to our listeners about your annual media production training.
Yes, we would love everyone to apply. So if you're an adult and you fit into that underrepresented filmmaker group, please apply. Go to our website, continuitystl.com. That's CONTINUITYSTL.com. And there's an application link. I highly recommend that you send a sample of something you've done. That is really what a lot of times separates the folks that make it to the next round, is they've actually gone out and made something. I don't care if you make it with your phone or what. Go out there and just make something. Tell a story, make a short story, whatever. It doesn't have to be something profound. It just has to be something where we can see you put some serious effort into it, and that'll really help you stand out in the application. So that's a little secret tip there.
Say, what makes for a great candidate? Do you only have 10 slots this go around again?
We only have 10 slots. We're focusing on a small group of folks, but there's a lot of individual attention. We only have so many computers, so much gear, so that's really all we can sustain. We had 100 applicants last year, but right now we only have 28 or 29.
Oh, okay.
So at this point, people's chances are better this year than they were last year.
Fantastic.
And just really put time into. We really do read the application. The application matters. It isn't just something that you shouldn't take time on. If you take time on it, we're going to take time reading it. And so I would give that tip. And then if you're interested and you apply, you want to see what was created in this program. June 1st,
just super.
From 7 to 9 p.m. It's a Friday night. We're going to have our big premiere event. And so Musau and the other students who have made projects, they each get to choose one from the program that they would like to show off to the community. And so So we're inviting everybody out to come check it out. We'll have some snacks, some drinks, and it'll be at St. Louis Artworks, which is at 5959 Delmar Boulevard. And you can see links to it on our social media on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/Continuity STL, Instagram, Continuity STL, Twitter, Continuity STL. So every website and social media is all Continuity STL.
Okay, fantastic. What do you need from us in the community? How can we help you do this more?
And I'll let Musau answer that as well, but like I mentioned, it definitely just isn't me. We can never pull this off. There's a huge team of us, so we need volunteers to be interested in helping in a number of different ways. As always, we're a nonprofit. We need financial support. I'd say one specific thing we would really love is that we would have computers that our participants could take home. Right now, they can only use them during class because they're not our computers and we're renting them. If we were able to purchase computers, then they could take those home and work on projects at home, and it would just expand the ability to learn and be able to finish projects. Would you agree?
What kind of computers? Does it matter what kind? What specifications?
We use Macs now. We use Final Cut Pro, which only works on Macs, but we are flexible. We're not going to be too choosy.
Exactly.
We're looking for laptops though, something folks can take easily home.
Got it.
Yeah, I think something like that would be definitely beneficial because you have only a certain amount of time. But the good thing, though, with Continuity, even though we have to use them during class, we're also able to go there during the lab hours that are also there.
That's fantastic.
So that we get more time in order to, work on our craft as well.
Done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fantastic.
So having that kind of flexibility would be amazing for the next go-around of applicants, participants, excuse me. Also, people who are looking for videos, people are open to having new filmmakers help them out with productions. I think that will also be a good thing to get in contact with Continuity and who are willing to team up with the program. Companies that are out there who are looking for, internships or stuff like that. Those kind of opportunities will be awesome for Continuity, so that way we're able to migrate into the field that we're working in different capacities.
Sure, and just
That's
really
great. I'm glad you mentioned
experience.
that. Yeah.
That's excellent. You're right. To provide some much needed experience. There's another way to make what you're looking for in building happen. So if I can create an opportunity for a young person that would lend to the end goal of your program, then that's something that would be of value.
Our goal is that all the participants leave our program either with the ability to start their own LLC or a job or a paid internship. These are kind of the three routes. That's our goal and our measuring stick, and we could definitely use help getting there because there isn't a lot of jobs in media in St. Louis, but there are some. And so those who are looking for people who have had we've already taken care of them, gave them the training, so they're ready to go. I think we put them up against any film student in St. Louis.
All right. Well, a lot of great talent comes from St. Louis, and it really just shines a bright light, a spotlight on, again, what I feel like is incredible potential that's untapped and not fully utilized that can really do some great things all over the place. This is awesome. One more question for you, Musa. What tip or recommendation do you have for candidates that would help them have the maximum opportunity and experience through the program? How can they really
benefit from the program?
Yeah, what things that would be the action of the participant to where they can really gain the greatest benefit of the program?
I would say to really be open to the process because, it can get really frustrating. I know, at least from my experience, there's times where it got frustrating for me, but being able to be open to the process and actually willing to take the information and learn, and asking the questions, asking for help, not being afraid to ask for the help, the attention that you need. Dan and the rest of the team are very, very inviting and helpful. If you have any questions about the next step or the next process, or even like going beyond from Continuity, like they are awesome resources. They're very open, and our instructors are amazing. Like they are willing to go out there and shoot with you if you're uncomfortable. If you feel like you just need a little bit more help with stuff, they're very, very loving and supportive in that manner. So I just say, if you're you're willing to take the risk and put yourself in the chance to learn, these guys are awesome.
That's
and they're going to be able to do that and help you with it.
Absolutely. Love it. Dan Parris, the executive director, Musau Onwubiko, participant in the Continuity Annual Media Production Training Program. 36 weeks of creating some great, diverse, authentic narrative to tell the stories that need to be told in our community. Continuity is a nonprofit expanding diversity in media production through skills-based training, mentoring, and opportunities for untapped talent. You can learn more at continuitystl.com. Thank you both for being here today and sharing about the great things you're up to.
Great.
Thank you for having us
so much.
All right, that's it for this week. If you have questions or comments or have something you'd like to include in the community calendar, you can leave a message on our message box at 314-333-8369, 314-333-8369. And for more information about our show or any of our guests, you can visit us online and listen to the podcasts at Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com. Just search iHeart Communities with Jade Harrell. You all be blessed, do blessed, and take care.